Welcome to another episode of Ask Better Questions. In today's episode, we'll be answering some questions detailing what AI may hold for the future. So-called experts and others love speculating on sweeping changes to be brought about by AI. But what does the future really hold? And why speculate on what the future holds when it's unlikely that we can guess with any meaningful accuracy? Well, join me as I discuss some of your questions regarding what the future looks like in an AI-driven world. Now, before we get into the episode, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Color4 Solutions. I'm a director at Color4 Solutions, and we provide independent advice on AI implementations for business looking to automate any business function. If you're in the market to automate or implement AI in any of your business processes, be sure to reach out. The links are in the description. So why speculate on the future? Speculation on an AI-driven future, despite the potential for inaccurate predictions, has several benefits. So, firstly, anticipating possibilities. Speculation allows us to consider a range of potential scenarios, even if we can't precisely predict the future. This can help us prepare for a variety of outcomes. So, strategic planning. Businesses, governments, and organizations can use speculative scenarios to inform strategic planning. While the specific details may be inaccurate, they can identify trends and prepare for various eventualities, which is the aim of this podcast. So, innovation and research. Speculation fuels innovation and research by imagining future possibilities. Researchers and developers are motivated to create new technologies and solutions that can change the future. At this point in time, with AI moving so rapidly, even just staying abreast of what is possible in this space is an insanely difficult job. And trust me, I know I do it. It's one of the things that a lot of the stuff that's coming out at the moment is improvements and iterations, and other stuff is completely new and groundbreaking. In terms of carrying on from this, why speculate on the future? Risk management. Considering possible AI-driven futures helps us identify potential risks and develop risk management strategies. Now, this can help mitigate negative consequences and maximize benefits. I imagine that in your business where you are at the moment, you're considering risk management. You're considering what is AI, what's it going to do to my industry, how are we going to implement it, all those sorts of things. This is something that I have been involved in a lot of those discussions at very high levels, but also around the water cooler. People are talking about AI and what impact it's going to have for them. There are ethical and policy considerations. So speculation informs discussions about the ethical, legal, and policy aspects of AI. So even if predictions are uncertain, considering ethical dilemmas and regulatory frameworks is essential. So a lot of what is currently being regulated is speculation. So at the moment, we're having real world impacts from speculative, not yet decided outcomes. Public awareness. Speculation raises public awareness about the potential impact of AI. Encouraging discussions about its benefits and challenges. Informed public discourse can lead to better decision making. And this is key. Getting people understanding what AI is capable of will lead to better discussions in the public sphere. So, educational value. Speculation about AI's future can serve as a valuable educational tool, helping individuals understand the technology, potential limitations, and potential impacts. Adaptation and resilience. While predictions may be inaccurate, contemplating various scenarios encourages adaptability and resilience. Being mentally prepared for a range of possibilities is valuable in and of itself. And lastly, inspiration and aspiration. Speculation about a bright AI future can inspire individuals and societies to strive for positive outcomes. It encourages setting ambitious goals. So in essence, the benefits of speculating about an AI-driven future is not to predict it with any certainty, but to prepare, innovate, adapt, and navigate the complex and evolving world of artificial intelligence. While predictions may be imprecise, thoughtful speculation can provide valuable insights and guide actions and decisions in the present. very rarely do we find we're making decisions with all the information. And those people that are making decisions with all the information are generally making them too late. So with all that said, here are some of the questions that I've been asked recently and my responses to them. So how will AI impact the job market? So a lot of what's happening at the moment is there is a lot of speculation that jobs are going to be the way of the past, and we're all going to be given a stipend from the government and we'll all be living off the AI teat, so to speak. What I think is most likely is that AI will create and displace jobs. So while some routine tasks may be automated, there will be a growing demand for AI-related professions such as AI engineers, data scientists, AI ethicists, and AI trainers. Now, this is rapidly evolving, this field, and many of these jobs don't yet exist, or where they do, they're understaffed and require considerable effort to obtain skilled people. Now, the challenge for most businesses is to acquire the right people and engage and utilize them well. So what role will AI play in addressing global challenges such as climate change, healthcare, and food security? So AI can significantly contribute to addressing these challenges by optimizing resource usage. It can assist in drug discoveries, improve agricultural efficiencies through precision farming. We're just scratching the surface of AI and developments in this area. Developments themselves are marching forwards at tremendous speed. So one of AI's biggest strengths is its ability to optimize resource allocation, and hence we will be better equipped to face these challenges with AI rather than without AI. There has been speculation that in the future, a lot of governments will use AI as kind of a consultative partner whenever it's making decisions. I think that's possibly a step too far at the moment based on what we know, but that said, it's not out of the realms of possibility. Perhaps not in the next 20 years, but certainly the next 100 maybe. So how might AI change the way we interact with technology and the internet in our daily lives? So AI at the moment is currently making interactions more personalized and efficient. So voice assistants, chatbots, and recommendation systems will become even more integrated into our daily lives, enhancing our experience. Now, this brings with it challenges, including, but not limited to, privacy concerns, bias, and propaganda concerns too. AI won't solve the information overload. In fact, it's probably going to make it worse. And the manner in which AI summarizes information will have significant impacts on the lives of millions of people. That said, let's see where that leads. So what are the ethical implications of increasing autonomous AI systems, and how can we address them? Now, this is a very detailed question that seems straightforward. So I mentioned it briefly earlier. Ethical concerns revolving around issues of bias, privacy and transparency, accountability, those sorts of things. Addressing these requires robust regulation, ethical AI development practices, and public awareness. The public has largely become aware of AI and is increasingly cognizant of AI's ability to present augmented reality. So it's not reality, it's augmented reality. Now, there are real risks that truth and fairness could become casualties of an AI future without ethical implementations. Every actor in this space has a responsibility and an ethical responsibility to utilize AI technologies ethically and responsibly. Now, this includes not just how AI is used, but also disclosing the nature of all interactions with AI. I guess one of the things that I'm hinting at here is these systems and AI itself are going to be regulated, but the ethics are unlikely to be strictly regulated per se. There might be guidelines and the like that we want to stick to, and proper development and proper implementations will adhere to an ethical and regulated, robust approach. So will AI AI-powered virtual and augmented reality redefine how we experience entertainment and education. So AI is currently in the process of rewriting the rules for entertainment, so to speak. In terms of education, AI is enhancing immersive experiences, so both in entertainment and education. Personalized learning, realistic simulations, and content curation will be transformed by AI. So AI is an exciting development in self-driven learning. AI has the ability to assist individuals greatly in learning skills and assisting with tailored and self-paced learning personalized to an individual. If you have a program currently that is a set body of work that you need to learn, a set body of skills you need to learn, AI can help each individual person have a tailored experience with that, which is incredibly powerful and much more effective. So how will AI impact the development of self-driving cars and transportation systems? So this one's interesting. Everyone seems to think that self-driving cars will become prevalent and no one will learn to drive anymore. I think, honestly, it's probably going to take longer than has been envisaged, and part of that is regulatory. But self-driving cars will likely become more common, all right, leading to safer and more efficient transportation systems. AI will play a pivotal role in navigation, collision avoidance, and traffic management. And a lot of those safety features are already being built into motor vehicles today. Now, what will this look like for private ownership of motor vehicles? That's yet to be decided. In many jurisdictions, they have been listening to voices that are calling for the end of private vehicle ownership. However, it is my considered view that this is an unlikely outcome. It will likely involve a rethink of the way in which cities are planned and built, and it's also likely that the cities of the future will have fewer car parking spaces, given that self-driving cars don't require parking for nearly as long as what we would consider normal vehicles today. Part of that is because self-driving cars will drive up, get goods delivered into the boot, shut the boot, and off it drives home, at which point it will unload those goods. The vehicles are more likely to spend more time either parked at home or on the road. Now that's possibly going to cause more traffic congestion, but the lack of car parking spaces and need to store vehicles is probably going to be a net benefit for society. Now, what are the potential advancements in AI for healthcare, including diagnosis, treatment, and drug discovery? So I think we'll see improvements in early diagnosis. Personalized treatment plans, the identification of new drug candidates. Ultimately, there will be enhanced health outcomes. This is an area that is heavily regulated already, and advancements that we see in the next 20 years will be greatly impacted by how much is allowed to occur within the current frameworks. We've seen that the current healthcare frameworks are very resistant to change, and I think that will continue because doctors consider themselves a protected species, and most of us would agree with them. We like to be treated by a human. That said, if we get better outcomes from AI, then there is no reason to believe that won't be the direction that we pivot to. So how might AI influence the field of creative arts, such as music, literature, and visual arts? Currently, there's a lot of work that's going on in this space. This wasn't supposed to be where AI was supposed to thrive, but evidently it's been fantastically good at creating visual art as well as written word and even music. So I think the future will be that AI will continue to aid artists and creators by generating content, assisting in design, and even collaborating on creative projects. So Adobe's recently announced improvements and integration of AI tools into its video suite and other software. Now, these improvements will likely lower barriers to entry for content creators, making more professional videos accessible to what is currently available only to studios will be available to mom and pops, rookies, if you will. Now, that may be a good thing, but equally, we're likely to see an increased utilization of AI-driven content for all sorts of things, from advertisements to adult entertainment. But will AI contribute to solving complex scientific challenges and accelerate research and development in various fields? So AI is already expediting scientific discoveries by processing vast data sets, simulating complex systems, and automating repetitive tasks in research. Now, this trend will grow, and data scientists will increasingly be at the forefront of new discoveries, and at very least be in the team credited with many new discoveries. Now, how will AI influence national security, defense strategies, and what risks does it pose in this context? This is a dangerous one. AI will enhance national security through advanced surveillance, predictive analysis, and cyber defense. However, the misuse of AI for cyber attacks and autonomous weaponry poses significant risks. That is the nicest way I can put it. Autonomous AI is by its nature very dangerous, particularly AI designed to destroy or cause damage. I recently saw an interview with Elon Musk where he detailed the original Terminator movie script, and it was all predicated on an AI replicating itself and invading multiple systems in order to keep its creators safe. But then the creators asked Skynet, could you please seek and destroy this invading system? Which it then realized was itself, and inferred that in order to protect itself from its creators, it needed to launch an attack. Now, Elon was rather bemused at this and said, look, this is a very clever approach to script movie writing, and they may well have nailed it on the head because a lot of AIs are doing this sort of thing in the wild. So that being said, what are the implications of AI on privacy and surveillance in the coming decades? So balancing AI's benefits with privacy concerns will be challenging. Stricter data protection regulations and responsible AI usage will be necessary to protect individuals' privacy. Again, ethical developments and the use of AI will be key to AI's success. Letting people know that you're dealing with an AI, letting people know what data is being captured, letting people know that that data is being kept securely, and making sure that AI is capable of keeping data securely is key. All of these ethical and privacy concerns will likely be regulated. Now, how will AI-driven automation and robotics impact manufacturing, logistics, and supply chain? So AI-driven automation will lead to increased efficiencies and cost savings in manufacturing, all of those things, logistics, supply chain, but it may also disrupt certain job markets. So if autonomous trucks are doing long hauls, drivers may, at least in the short term, be moved to more local delivery driving roles. But longer term, full end-to-end automation of delivery of goods is the most likely outcome. Now that said, I guess the most efficient way to deliver goods at scale was at one time the railroad, and the car wasn't even in the race. But we see now that most deliveries occur by motor vehicle, not railroad. So it's not always the best or most efficient technology that wins the day, and it rarely happens that these decisions are made in a vacuum. I guess when the stars align, we will see a lot of, driving jobs and the like will end up going the way of the dodo, but not in the near term. In the near term, we still like to have somebody walk to the door and hand us our parcel with a smile and a clipboard. But in the future, it may just be an AI robot wheeling up, dropping your package, and then wheeling itself away. So here is a key one. Now, this is question 13, but how will AI be regulated and governed on a global scale, and what standards will be set for its responsible use? This is an open-ended question. To be honest with you, I don't know yet. I guess what I can say is that international cooperation will be crucial for setting global standards and regulation on AI. Addressing issues like data sharing, bias mitigation, and AI safety, AI will be regulated. That I can say for sure. What shape that takes and how effective it is, well, that's yet to be determined. That said, I am confident that those who can regulate definitely want to, and they are desperate to put this genie back in the bottle, and will use any means at their disposal to do so. When you're a regulator for a government department, you have a hammer. So every problem needs your hammer. This is going to be an interesting time for AI as those regulators come through. They may not know exactly what they're doing. My word, they've got a hammer. Anyway, so we shall see what happens there. I think the European Union is a great example of the blind regulating even more blind. Those people that want to regulate this industry and don't understand it are very similar to those people in Congress who don't understand the internet, were around before the invention of the telephone and are still passing legislation to regulate, which is interesting. So question 14, what are the potential societal and cultural shifts as AI continues to advance, and how will societies adapt to these changes? So we're likely to see shifts in the job market. Cultural norms and societal structures will change. But as we've seen with the advent of TikTok and YouTube and various other social medias, things have changed slowly. First, everyone was on Facebook. Now, only older people are on Facebook. Then people went to Instagram, and then Instagram became uncool, and people shifted to Snapchat, and now it's TikTok. Things will ebb and flow. A lot of the things will happen subtly and will happen quickly, but still subtly. Other things will happen very, very fast and immediate. That said, it's very difficult to judge what cultural things will change. I guess mobile phones at the dinner table 20 years ago were unheard of, but now it's par for the course. I guess the key question is my last question. So what measures can be taken to ensure AI is used for the benefit of humanity rather than being exploited for malicious purposes? Now, this question almost deserves an episode to itself. Quick summary: ethical guidelines, international agreements, and strong cybersecurity measures will be essential to ensure AI's responsible and beneficial use. That said, there are a few subpoints here. Ethical development and deployment. So we need to promote ethical and deploy AI development standards. We need to encourage AI developers to establish ethical boards, conduct impact assessments, and identify potential risks. We need regulations and standards. So the development and enforcement of regulations specific to AI to ensure that it's developed and used safely and responsibly, that needs to happen. We need to support the creation of international standards and norms to guide AI development. Now, that in and of itself, there we could spend hours on. Who do we get involved in that? What are their qualifications? Do they need to be developers? Do they need to have developed various different styles of AI? All sorts of things could be relevant there. Additionally, what are the grounds for ignoring AI regulations and standards? And some people might say, national security, etc. And I would argue there should be very, very limited, narrow use cases for ignoring regulations and standards. And national security should possibly not be one of them. That said, I would likely lose that argument to a bureaucrat. Now, transparency and explainability. So we require transparency in AI systems. We need to know when we're dealing with AIs. We need to, as consumers as well as businesses, we need to be notified, and we need to be able to see what sort of things or what models your business is running through in order to be able to lift the hood. Now, a lot of people will say that's sort of giving away your proprietary information, and in some instances, maybe it is. But in other instances, I think your customers will be more receptive to it because you are showing them what is happening to the data. We need to work on bias mitigation. So implementing measures that can detect and mitigate bias in AI algorithms, ensuring they don't discriminate against certain people groups or indeed reinforce existing biases. That said, bias mitigation is sometimes triggered by data. In terms of data will often show and demonstrate a bias because data is rarely evenly distributed. And where you do have evenly distributed data, it's generally fake. What you will find is bias mitigation is often triggered by actual real-world data. So you will find that most university students in the States that are in the top 5%, you will have a higher proportion of Asian students in that for your sciences and your maths. And that is not bias, that is just real-life data. And is that, should that be mitigated? Well, possibly not. Now we've got data and privacy security as well. We need to, I guess, again, stemming back to regulations and standards, make sure that data privacy and security are paramount in any implementation of AI. There will be AI education and literacy. We need to promote AI education. We need to make sure that people understand what AI is and what it isn't. It is not Skynet. It is not coming for your job, although some people will lose their jobs to AI. It's not AI's fault that it is particularly good at doing mundane, repetitive tasks exceptionally well. It's also particularly good at creating artwork, creativity. Oversight and accountability. We need to establish oversight boards and mechanisms to hold AI developers and users accountable for actions. So the developers and the users need to be held accountable for actions using AI, but also businesses who implement AI, governments who implement AI. They need to be held accountable. There needs to be somebody who will hold up. They are the person responsible for starting, launching, triggering an AI event. We need to encourage research and development to constantly improve. We need more collaboration. We also need ethics training. Now, ethics training, people might go, well, everyone knows what's ethical. There is a number of ethical models that need to be considered whenever AI deployments occur. And anyone who has studied ethics understands that there is more than one way of viewing a problem ethically. So we need to consider ethics training for all people within the AI space. We also need to engage publicly. We need to involve the public in discussions about AI, policies, ethics, regulations. We need to ensure that there's a diverse perspective that's involved in the creation of these regulations and the discussion. But we also need to make sure that people are enrolled in this. We also have human rights considerations. So ensure that AI respects fundamental human rights and freedoms, including the right to privacy and freedom from discrimination. There's also legal accountability, impact assessments, incident reporting planning. I guess what we also need to do is, in amongst all these other initiatives, we need to have strong AI for good initiatives. So encourage the development and support of AI for good initiatives that's focused on using AI for positive social and environmental impacts. By combining all of these measures, it's possible to harness the benefits of AI while minimizing the potential for misuse and harm, ultimately ensuring the AI technology is used for the betterment of humanity. So in summary, today we've covered why it's useful to speculate on the future, not just for AI and how it's used, but also more generally. We've also answered 15 questions about the future of AI. We've covered off why AI will both create and displace jobs. We've covered off why AI can address global challenges by optimizing resources and the allocation. We've covered off why AI will personalize and streamline technology. there were 15 questions there. We've dived deep into ethical guidelines, international agreements, cybersecurity measures, all of those things, data protections, national security. We've covered off the world's gamut today. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, and some of these things may come to pass, others may not. It's unlikely to pan out the exact way I detailed it here, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on where this AI-driven future will take us. Leave me a note in the comments, and if you have questions or comments, reach out in the links in the description. So if you like this podcast, leave a rating and review, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'm Peter Adams, and I'll be here next week to ask better questions.